Gonna take a little time, doom, 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 doom. A little time to think things over. Doom, 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 doom. And these mountains I must climb. Feel like a weight upon my shoulder. Doom, 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 doom. In my life, there's been heartache and... Oh, well. I have to warm up my voice. In my life, there's been heartache and pain. I don't know if I could... Hello, Pay! Wow, #1. What's going on? I started late because I had technical difficulties, and it's gonna be a very short stream. For some reason, it didn't want to connect to YouTube, and so I had to restart the computer. So on and so forth. Did you finish your painting last night? Are you finished with those errands? Alright, I guess I can turn the camera on. Camera on? Yes. I'm working out in my garage, cutting boards. Okay. I'm really close to done. You're cutting boards. Interesting, like wooden boards for art? Yeah, I saw a little bit of the stream at the end this morning, and it looked pretty done. I'm still surprised that you added the panda right at the end. That was a bold move, but it looks fantastic. And I think Panda is proud. Cutting panels down to size for next batch of paintings. Ah, okay. Oh yeah, I remember you told us that you get those from your aunt or something similar. So you have like a stash of boards there. That's pretty cool. You're saving up. You have the canvases already. I'm not stalling here. I'm just trying to get set up, so please bear with me. Dun 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 dun. I have that song stuck in my head now. It's gonna take a little time, dun 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 dun. A little time to think things over. Dun 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 dun. I wonder if you know that song. Come on, YouTube. Yes, we're getting there. Hello, YouTube. And hello, Twitch. Where's the thing here? Hello, Dean. Good day to you. What are you up to? Thank you so much for that request. I had a lot of fun reacting to the artist, to Eric. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, stopping there. I won't be able to hear while using the Blade Runner, but I'm watching and working. Got it. Thanks for your reaction on Eric. I really like Black Velvet in that little boy's smile. Doo-doo-doo. Black velvet in that smooth southern style. Something like that. And no religion. I was so surprised when learning about the history of that song. An amazing song and tribute. Okay, I think we are good here. Good to begin. Like I said, this is going to be a short stream. 2 hours. 2 hour stream because I'm almost done with Michael Jackson, and the NBA finals are today, so I want to catch the game. Shuffle the music. Yes, I know. Okay. And somebody requested House of the Rising Sun yesterday. Like immediately after I did that reaction, somebody else asked for the other one. Through coffee, was it through coffee? No, I think they were a Patreon member. I am almost set up, guys. Oh well. It's a funky song to start off. Okay. Right there. Yes. My favorite version has more than 8 million views. Oh, wow. I'm trying to think of the other versions that I have heard from that song. And I think mostly they have been auditions for The Voice. There's a very good rock singer that went on The Voice. I forget what it was like. Maybe Germany? It was a European country. And he did some incredible covers, including House of the Rising Sun, and he also did he was doing like some of the toughest songs. I think he did he was one by Led Zeppelin. I'm forgetting exactly which one, and then by the Scorpions. I'm still loving you. That song looks amazing. Thank you. Thank you. I still think there are things I can fix about my style, and I can loosen up a little bit, but it will be for the next drawings. I'm still getting warmed up since I was away from drawing for a bit, so. Well, I thought, wasn't it originally by The Animals? Or were they doing a cover? Maybe you're right. Maybe... No, actually, it's one of those songs that is probably like way, way, way back that people forget the origin, and The Animals did a cover. Huh. Okay. I want to react to the original video at some point, because I've only seen some clips of it. That one, and I think that's it. Okay. No, says Dean. It was a folk song, originally. I have to get back some of these darks. Now I kind of want to sing that song, but there's no way I can do it justice. Was recorded in 1933 by Clarence Ashley. Bob Dylan and other people covered it, and then came The Animals. Wait, so Bob Dylan covered it even before The Animals? Bob Dylan, highly underrated. I think Bob Dylan was, or is, an incredible songwriter and a very good musician, of course, but his voice is very particular, and maybe for that reason, it didn't give him like global status, right? It wasn't like a very commercial type of voice. It's very particular. I don't think I've ever reacted to Bob Dylan. I only know a few of his songs. This part over here has been so, like, confusing. It's given me a bit of a headache, no pun intended. Yes. It was a few years before them. Yeah, I forget how early he was. So this would have been like mid-60s. Ahead of his time. I wonder, you know, what would have happened if Bob Dylan was in a band like the Beatles. Maybe he would have been like the equivalent of the Beatles here in America if he had a band. That's slightly better. Hello, Toast! Long time no see. How goes the cheese bread situation, please? I have been wondering. I also like The Animals more than Bob Dylan in terms of the House of the Rising Sun version, or in general. The singer of The Animals, man, that guy has some pipes. I need to hear more music from The Animals. I don't think I know any others aside from the song we've been talking about. There is a house in New Orleans. Eric's version is my favorite. I got the cheese bread, so we're good. We're cooking. I'm actually trying to think of Eric's version in my head now that I'm more familiar with his voice. I can kind of play it in my head, to be honest. But of course I will have to see it for myself. Okay. I remember when I was a teenager, like 14 years old, I was reading about the greatest songs of all time. And I stumbled upon an article from the Rolling Stone, and I went through the whole list, and it said the number one song for them was Like a Rolling Stone by Bob Dylan. And I told that to my dad, and he was like, no way. Like, it's a good song, but number one? It's epic dark version. So what does he mean by that? When he includes the dark version on it? Like dark in terms of like mood? More like a darker rock? Trying to figure out the cloud situation here. For the composition. See, I don't like when things are straight in a drawing. Like it follows the margin too perfectly. Not a fan. Regine, oi! How are you? Oh, Regine, you said you're from Brazil? Toast is also from Brazil. Toast is on Twitch. And Regine is on YouTube. I like Painted Black from the Stones. You know, I really should dive deeper into their music because I don't know that many songs from the Rolling Stones. And I'm sure they have like a huge catalog of bangers. I have heard that one, of course. And maybe my favorite by them would be Angie. Trying to think of the other one. Yes, it has a dark mood, but better. Hear it yourself, okay. Todo bem. All good. See, I understand. Sim Ebose? What is the other song by the Rolling Stones that I'm trying to think of? That it talks about... Oh man. Hold on, I'm going to look it up very quickly. Oh, it was, I mean, I know Satisfaction. It was Sympathy for the Devil. That's a very heavy song. Very dark. Have you guys heard of Ren? R-E-N. Ren. Musician from the UK. Especially Dean, since you like rock music. I want to know if you are aware of Ren. I got back into working out yesterday, so my whole body is sore. The old songs were great. Yes. You know, oh, yes to Ren. Because he has a band called The Big Push. I was like, these guys are amazing. It's one of those discoveries that, like, yeah, they're not global, like people don't know about them, but they are so good. He made today a new song with Chris Webby. I have reacted to some of the ones that came before. Also very cool. But check out the songs by The Big Push, including their cover of Sympathy for the Devil. You will not regret it. You have my recommendation. I know sometimes, you know, we may feel like, like, okay, fine, like, alright, I'll check out somebody else, and then you don't think much of it, and then you watch the video and you're like, I've been missing out. Because I think Ren is one of the most talented musicians that I've seen in my life. He is up there. And I really enjoy his work with The Big Push. They are on tour, Big Push, yes. They also did, or not them, Ren was doing some work with the Skinner Brothers a few months ago. They did a series, and that was also very good. I know some of them. the most recent that he did with the big push was Mambo Number 5. And you would think that would be kind of like a joke type of song. It's so good. Not this one, but I've seen Mambo Number 5. Bongo song. I shot the sheriff, but I didn't shoot the deputy. Bob Marley. I've never reacted to him. Don't think I have gotten requests. Although it's hard to keep up with the comments nowadays. So I've had the channel for almost 3 years, and I've been able to answer every single comment on all the channels actually so far, but the past couple weeks I'm falling a little bit behind. He made also a collab with Eminem. Did he really? Recently? I don't listen to a lot of rap, but I think Eminem is the GOAT. A recent artist that I've reacted to that, does rap music is, Tom MacDonald, although he can get controversial with the politics. But there's another one that I really enjoy. His name is Yellow Wolf. Bob Marley is also nice. I loved Three Little Birds. I don't think I know that song. Bob Marley is one of those people that have always heard their name as a child. You see posters everywhere. You hear Bob Marley. It's such an iconic name. But I don't know many songs from him. Ren had one song with Eminem. I saw it last time a week ago. Really? I can't believe I haven't seen that one. Is that what helped him blow up a little bit? Blow up in terms of viewers? He has a very loyal fan base. Just making some of these areas a little bit darker. And you get to a point in the drawing where I get kind of nervous making any change, I had 4 CDs. It's from 2025, so last year, kind of recent. How did I miss that song? Last year is when I was most reacting to Ren. He was already famous last year. Ah, okay. But I'm sure it really helped him. And it was probably a big deal for him. Do you have a favorite song by Ren? Anyone? Anyone? Am I sweating already? It is really hot. A lot of people saw Hi Ren. Do you know that song? Of course. I think that was the first one I ever reacted to from Ren. That's a masterpiece. It is a work of art. But it's not his most enjoyable song, so I wouldn't consider it my favorite. One of the ones that stand out is Back on 74. It's like a remix with Sending Out an SOS, Sending Out an SOS. Man, I forget the name of that song, and it's not SOS. By Sting. Message in a Bottle. That is one of my favorites from Ren. Bittersweet Symphony. That's a very good song originally, and his cover was also very nice. I remember the music video for it. He was outside in the yard. Somebody was playing the cello. Kids playing soccer in the background. It's funny how I can remember some music videos like super clearly, and others is like, nope. It's hard to remember, you know, doing so many reactions. The strings. It's a beautiful instrument. So I have to figure out what to do with the clouds here. Because I don't like the shape. It's a police cover, Message in a Bottle. Yes, that's what it was. And Sting was the singer for the Police. That's why I was thinking of Sting. And he's still performing so well, even at an older age, because several months ago I watched the video he was in the MoMA, the Museum of so one of the museums, I forget. and he performed. I'm trying to think of the song. That's not the shape of my heart. That song. And he did it so well. I got the chills hearing his voice. So these shapes over here for the background, which I guess we could call them clouds, I'm just doing them from my mind. This is where I get to have a little bit of my, like, my name on here. Let's see what is next. What? The playlist is over? Oh no, okay. There are a lot of great bands. Too many. There are just there's many great like popular bands that we know of, recognized, and then there's so many hidden great bands. You know, another person that I discovered recently was Alexandra. I literally just reacted to her today, and she was performing at the Eurovision 2026. Alexandra Capitanescu from Romania. Check out the song Heat. It's on my channel right now, and it is so good. And also she did a performance at the Eurovision. The name of the song was Choke Me. Super cool sound design. It was like symphonic metal. So I'm just discovering people, you know, weekly. I only know her from ESC. ESC? Oh, is that the Eurovision? Yeah, that's where I first reacted to her about a week ago. And I move a little bit and the whole drawing is like out of frame. Yes, the Eurovision. Alexandria when it comes to symphonic metal. Don't think I have heard of her. Zandria. We'll have to look into it. One of the ones that comes to mind is Nightwish. Hydrate. Thank you, Toast. Say no more. And I like also Lay of the Autumn. I don't know them. I don't know a ton about symphonic metal. See, this is what I'm saying. I will never run out of business. I will never go out of business because there's so many ideas when it comes to music. It's constantly coming out. You can always go back to the older music. There's too much out there. Should I do a little bit of that over here? That is the question. But for now, I'm going to sign the drawing. In front of your eyes. Why did I sign that one like that? Okay. And then the artists change also. There is an evolution with music. There it is. You can barely see it on screen, but it's there. I'm thinking in terms of the composition. Thank you, Regine. I'm also surprised about the new Europe songs. I want to check out more from the Eurovision. That is going to be on my list for the next couple of days. Oh, and I was surprised when I heard the last song from Fix. I keep seeing it pop up, but I haven't checked it out. Because at one point I did react to Fix, and I think it's because he was in a mega remix for a Dax song. Another amazing artist, Dax. I think I am underestimating Fix. Today they released The Cult of Ignorance. I really like that one. The Cult of Ignorance. Oh wow. I was close. No, maybe I will leave it be clean over here. Less is more, as they say. I've reacted to a bunch of songs from Dax, but they don't get many views. And I'm always distraught about it. You know what I don't react to often? Country. At this point, the channel has an established audience, let's say, somewhat, and not a lot of people, you know, watching country over here. And I'm excited what Eric will do next. He asked today for suggestions for he did, so I think he will go with covers and originals. Where did he ask for suggestions? Does he have like a Patreon page, or I have some suggestions. I probably wouldn't be a good fit for suggestions because I don't know everything that he has done. So I'm sure that's mostly like the hardcore fans that have seen all his videos. In his YouTube channel? Maybe I will leave a comment just in case. Did you suggest anything? Yes. What did you suggest? My suggestion was time after time. If you lost, you can look and I will be waiting. Time after time. You know, I just watched the video. I feel like I say this so much. I just watched a reaction. Or I just reacted to a cover of Time After Time by Emily Lingit. And she is a wonderful singer based in Dubai. Very versatile as well. Does all types of covers. Time After Time, that's a good one. Land of Confusion, I haven't heard. Has he ever done a cover by Green Day? It's from Genesis. I always get the singer of Genesis confused with Phil Collins. Oh wait, or was that Phil Collins? I get Genesis on and REM confused. Oh, if he hasn't done a Green Day song, the doors are wide open. I would recommend Wake Me Up When September Ends. It was Phil Collins. So Phil Collins is from Genesis, and the one I mistake him for is the singer of REM. Yeah, Wake Me Up When September Ends. That is a very heartfelt song. It's emotional. I think that would be a good fit for Eric. Wow, it's already 6:30. I know the history of Wake Me Up When September Ends. Yep, it's about his dad passing away. And that really hits home for me. I forget what's the name of Billy? Billy. What's the name of the singer? Something Billy. Billy. It's not Billy Idol, and it's not Billy Joel. Another good one by Green Day is Boulevard of Broken Dreams. That takes me back straight to 4th grade, because we actually performed that song in front of the class. It was so popular back then that, like, I don't know, they organized something and we sang it in front of the class. He said this sentence to hide to his mother when he ran away from the funeral. Name us Billy Joe. Billy Joe. Okay, Billy Joe. Okay, Armstrong. Okay. That is so sad. That is such a sad song. Yeah, Green Day is part of my childhood. It's one of those bands I always heard about, you know, saw the logos, the t-shirts, the album cover. Same with Linkin Park. probably the two biggest rock bands of the early 2000s. I can't think. Can you even think of a bigger band? Yeah, Basket Case. That's a crazy one. When I come around, he has this singing voice that I always think it's like if he were sick, he had like the sniffles or something. So he kind of sings like this when I come around. Like if he anyway, that kind of like nasally. Let's check out some songs by Green Day. Not to play on stream because I can't, but to remember. "21 Guns", "Holiday", "American Idiot", "Good Riddance", "Welcome to Paradise", "Jesus of Suburbia". Man, they have a ton of bangers. The Simpsons theme? I don't know that one. Longview, Brain Stew. Bobby Socks. That's a song that they put out in 2024. Very long career as well. I think they started around 1994. When I come around, it's very like contagious. Their guitar playing, you hear it and you kind of want to mimic. I heard a lot of Bon Jovi and Guns N' Roses in the in the 90s. For sure, that was Guns N' Roses in the 90s. Top. When I think of like what is the quintessential, like iconic rock band, one of the first that comes to mind is Guns N' Roses. And "Welcome to the Jungle" is probably one of the greatest rock songs. It could be number one, in some people's lists. The new ones, I don't know. I've heard a few. I've reacted to a few. I can't really name them off the top of my head. But the one I can tell you is The Warning. The Warning is an incredible rock band from now. American Idiot was the latest I heard from Green Day. That was back in the day. Oh, we're halfway there. Oh, living on a prayer. Take my hand, we'll make it, I swear. Oh, living on a prayer. Living on a prayer. Welcome to the Jungle. For me, Welcome to the Jungle came after Paradise City. Paradise City is a good one, but I think iconically, maybe because of the guitar solo, people would name Welcome to the Jungle as the #1 rock song. Did I miss any? I think Bon Jovi and Bryan Adams have like a similarity, but Bryan Adams is more about like maybe emotional ballads, maybe more towards pop, whereas like Bon Jovi is like the rock style cousin of Bryan Adams. November Rain. Ooh, from Guns N' Roses, A Civil War. I think that's one of my favorites. That intro is so particular, right? What we've got here is failure to communicate. Dun, 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 dun. Some man you just can't reach. Bon Jovi was my first CD, New Jersey. I'm sure Bon Jovi was stealing all the girls' hearts back then. A lot of these guys, right? Same with Axl. I like the intro from Patience from Guns N' Roses. Okay, I'm trying to remember it. It's like a very acoustic type of song. A little patience. It probably seems like I'm not doing much over here, but it's just small details. Getting the shapes in here. Let me see, what other songs from Guns N' Roses? Oh, Sweet Child of Mine. That is probably the #1 rock song. Or up there. Knocking on Heaven's Door. The cover that they did originally by Bob Dylan, was it not? And then a lot of these I actually don't know. The most recent song, it looks like Perhaps from 2023. Oh, it was the song with the whistling. Oh, okay. I wish I could do it, but it would be too loud, probably. I don't know if you heard that, but do you know the cover of Mission Souls of Sweet Child of Mine? Yes! Yes, I do. I actually reacted to it. And it was one of their best. I've done so many covers of Mission Souls. Maybe 60 videos at this point. 50 or 60. And that is a standout. That one and So Far Away by Avenged Sevenfold. Just they are on a, like, I don't even know. I don't even know what's going on with that, the genes in that family. It's too good. Never seen anything like that before from a family. Okay, so now I'm going to smooth this out a bit. It also impresses me how fast Mission Souls releases videos. They're uploading like twice a week. There's like a certain obsession with trying to make this perfect, but there's really no need. This is just practice. I'm still working for a live video from Eric, but I only saw amateur videos. Don't know if you like to react to something like this. Yeah, I'm open to it. Dean, I react to anything musical. I've even reacted to full albums, a full concert I did recently of John Farnham, interviews I've reacted to. Just really anything. I have some EPs on queue of an artist that I'm not familiar with, so that's gonna be interesting. I'm not limited, so feel free to request whatever is in your heart. I'm just letting the shapes guide me. They choose the way. The videos are great to see his stage performance, but the quality of the tone is not so good. Someone filmed from the audience and made the video on YouTube. So not the best quality, but that's not a problem. Actually, was that how you found me, Dean? Through one of the Eric reactions? I hope I will see him next year. His show is fire. Is he not doing a tour this year? Around the fall? And what happened to Heat? Do you think he'll ever perform with the band again? He is in Scandinavia and Japan. Scandinavia, that's an interesting place. I never hear anything about it. But it makes sense considering he's from Sweden, right? I think he's from Sweden. I don't think so. Maybe on 1 to 2 shows with Heat, they're still friends. All right. I'm gonna stretch my legs. All right, so what about over here? I have to define more of the clouds. Yeah, he's from Sweden. Jonah T is still in Heat. All right. Speaking of Sweden, I think you caught the reaction to ABBA on the Classics channel. I wonder if he would ever do a cover of ABBA. Eric already left Heat before he got sick. I forget exactly what the health difficulties were, but hopefully he's doing better now. I think you had mentioned it. Do you know the ABBA covers of Tommy Johansson? They are pretty good. I think I have heard the name, but I haven't watched the videos. Tommy Johansson. Is he also from Sweden? He was the guitarist of Sabaton and is lead singer of Majestica. He is also from Sweden. Sounds very cool. But yeah, I haven't heard any of those bands, to be honest. More music to discover. It's power metal. It sounds like it based on the names. It looks like his hair is on fire. Or something like that. Yeah, but hold on. So next up, I'm going to draw a female singer. I have to make the poll on YouTube. And the people that I'm thinking of including in the poll are Shakira, Adele. What was the other one? Man, what was the other? Lady Gaga, maybe? Oh, Dua Lipa. And I need one more. If you try Tommy Johansson, try Voulez-vous or Lay All Your Hands on Me. They are great. I'm assuming those are both from ABBA. Voulez-vous was the first ABBA reaction that I did. Phantom of the Opera. Who's that originally by? I always hear the name. I have seen some covers. Phantom of the Opera. I wonder how far back that goes. Lay all your love in me. Okay. I am not familiar with that song. It's a musical from Lloyd Webber. Oh, The Phantom of the Opera. Okay. That became sort of a cult classic. Very iconic. How did I have this before? I don't know. I think Tommy Makes It Great. Yeah, I'm sure I have heard the name. Seen the thumbnails on YouTube pop up. But now it's time to react. Because when you said Tommy, I thought of Tommy Emmanuel, and that's a guitarist. I'm really thinking here about the background. I just tried to remember how I landed on your channel. I thought it was because of an Eric reaction. I think I was the first who requested Eric. In that case, who could it have been? How did you get here, Dean? Well, whatever the case, it was destiny. Maybe because of Ren. Maybe one of those reactions with the with Chris Webby. Or the one I did to Mambo Number 5. A little bit of Jessica by my side, a little bit of Tina's all I need, a little bit of Tina's. I'm gonna make some rice tonight because I'm getting hungry. This could be... I saw a lot of reactions about Ren and Big Push. Although with the Big Push, it's been kind of... well, maybe a couple months ago. I ate so many cheese bread, I'm sleepy. How many? Well, it's usually 13, right? Yeah, I get so sleepy myself right after eating lunch. Because normally I don't have breakfast, so I eat lunch, and that makes me very full, so I get sleepy. Just putting like little highlights, little white dots here and there. I think it's a nice touch. $15? You maniac. I wish I could have one cheese bread right now. I gave you the recipe, just bake it yourself. I don't have an oven. And I think that's one of the requirements. I don't think I can just make it on the stove. Where else? Where else? Have you heard a song from Eric from the album Without Video? Nope. Just the videos I've reacted to on YouTube, those are the ones that I've heard. So I think only one? Only one from the newest album? Well, I'm going to sleep. Bye-bye. Good night, Toast. Have a good sleep. See you next time. Probably Friday. I'm waiting for the next 6 videos. He will make a video for every song. Oh, okay. Well, that sounds good. I usually prefer reacting to music videos. For example, right now I'm waiting on Muse because they released a visualizer for the latest song, and I'm pretty sure they're going to release a music video, so I'm kind of waiting. If not, then I'll just react to the visualizer and then the music video. I think more, at least Born to Break and Who's the Winner. Oh yeah, those two. Those two are from the same album? Okay. Well, I am almost done here. Eric only has this album with originals. It's his first one after 15 years. It's his moment. And it's definitely a step that you want to take as an artist, because otherwise you will just be known as the person that does covers. Hi George, how goes it in the cloud land? Love the hair and teeth details. Thank you, Cozy. It goes well. I think I'm done. I'm pretty much done here. And I'm about to wrap up the stream soon because I want to catch the game, NBA Finals. But yeah, how are you doing? How was the cozy land? It was 10 years with Heat and wrote an album together with Skid Row. Oh, that's right. So he has proven to be with bands. He can do covers. He can be solo. Good. Good for his resume. But this album is turning out very well so far. I'm excited for the next music. Would you react to or react on his short documentation? It's about the background from the album in 6 to 7 minutes. Yes, I would react to that. I have done many reactions to interviews, especially for Natalie Merchant. She was an artist in the 90s, actually going back to the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. I've gotten a lot of requests for Natalie interviews. And I saw a Linda Ronstadt interview as well. Maybe a few others here and there. Love Jack White's documentaries and interviews. Jack White. I've seen a few. I've seen a few where he talks about the movies. but I haven't seen that many. I think the most recent one was for the Minecraft movie. Oh no, I'm thinking of Jack Black. Sorry. Sorry. I thought about Jack Black. Jack White, I've never seen an interview. I reacted to the White Stripes, or no, it was actually just him, I think, on man, what was this? Man, I'm blanking out. What was the event that just happened? The big event. Lollapalooza? No, it was what was that music festival? Damn. It's gonna haunt me. I'll send you the link in the next days on your coffee. Thank you, Dean. I will be ready with arms wide open. Best is it might get loud. Jack Black and Jack White had an SNL sketch together. Yeah, what's going on with SNL lately? You know, people keep saying that it was best in the 90s. That's when it was, you know, peak. I've seen some of the recent ones, just a few. Still funny. I'm trying to picture in my head the dynamic, because Jack Black is super like over the top energetic, and Jack White to me seems kind of like more like soft spoken, like laid back. But he is a rock star, so I don't know, maybe they're both high energy. And I have to look it up. What was that festival? It's gonna drive me crazy. Oh, Coachella. Wow. Yeah, he was at Coachella performing Seven Nation Army. That's what it was. The whole album is great. I heard it already so often, and I like that every song is different. What is your favorite song of the album so far? And that is good to know, because I like variety in albums, so if every song is very different, then my type of style. Do you know Bad Bones and Bad Bones? And Praying for a Miracle? I don't know why I thought of Bad to the Bone when you said that, so I don't think I know those songs. If they are songs. Bad to the bone, bad bad to the bone. At the moment, lost for life and written in the scars. You don't know them. Somebody mentioned written in the scars. I don't know if it was you or someone, but I have not heard those. They seem like they would be more emotional, like a ballad, as opposed to the other ones that I've heard, like Born to Break. What else? What else? What else can I do here? Yes, that was the other two songs with videos. Bad Bones is with Japanese dancers in the video. A banger. That is coming out of nowhere. Japanese dancers in one of his videos. The setting for the video of Praying for a Miracle is a swamp. Intriguing. Why would that be? Praying for a miracle and they are at a swamp? I just think of Shrek when you say swamp. My hands are sweaty. Mm-hmm. Is this the end? Let me check something here. Just trying to see if the game has started. I guess soon. It says 7:30. Alright, let me step back with my eyes. Now I look. Ukuko, hello! I was sick this morning but recovering now. You almost finished? Amazing. Yeah, I think I am finished right now. I'm actually about to end. Yeah, I hope you're doing better. The drawing is really amazing, thank you. We got two amazings back to back. That's a good sign. I was just comparing it to the others. The thing is, I made his head bigger in this drawing. So there's like more detail in the face compared to the other ones. So maybe next time I will make it a little bit smaller. It just kind of looks simple with the background like that, but I don't want to overdo it. I can always do another one. I'm sure I will draw Michael Jackson again in my life. So I think I will actually call it done right now. I want to start on a new portrait. See, I've been looking at this too much now. Enough. I did what I could. It's time to move on. Plus, I'm starving. That is the biggest motivation right now. Yes. Alright, it's done. This is the end. For this is the end. Alright. Well, that is that. Let me see. What's going on here? Who else is streaming right now? I think I will call it a day. I will raid as it is customary. Okay, let's raid I know. Did I spell that right? All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining. I really appreciate the company, Dean and Fukuko, everyone that tuned in. The drawing is finished, and Friday I will start with Friday. Yes, I will start with a new person, a new portrait. So I'll make a poll on YouTube and decide who is next. So hope you have a great rest of the day. Stay hydrated, stay healthy, and I will see you soon. Till the next.